What is up, everybody? I'm your host of Browning and Stave, and we've got 2 bits of American news and 2 bits of world news to cover today. But first, we've been stuck around the 275 subscriber mark for a few days, so do me a huge favor if you watch regularly and enjoy the content, smash that subscribe button, and let's get into it. Our first story is out of New York, where the Supreme Court ruled that those who were fired for not getting the shot must be reinstated with back pay. This is a big win for all who were directly affected, but it's also a win for everyone who thinks the government has no place forcing us to get injected with an experiment. This sets a great precedent for others to sue and win their jobs back, and it appears they will have to do just that if they want it, because a spokesperson for the city's law department said that the mandate is still in effect for anyone outside the suit. So while it sets a precedent for others to sue and win, and is a big win for the small group of workers who brought the lawsuit, I think it's a little ridiculous that it only applies to the ones who had the time and money to file the lawsuit. I kind of figured this would look like any other Supreme Court ruling and it would automatically become law of the land for everyone in New York. But I digress because maybe I'm wrong, or maybe the New York Supreme Court will come out and say, hey, when we make a ruling, it applies to everyone. Our second piece of American news: does everyone remember that horrible person who intentionally drove an SUV through a Christmas parade in Waukesha? Well, he was convicted after what was probably the shortest jury deliberation ever. My expectations of someone who does what he did, they're not very high, and yet he was crazier than expected. Check out this court footage.
And you're doing this tactic
because it's not a tactic, it's facts. It's facts.
To some other reason.
It's facts. Because I find it hard to believe that
I'm gonna
all of a sudden nobody hears what I say.
I'm gonna
Because that's a lie.
Let him
Because at the end of the day,
Let him finish.
If we're gonna open the door on that,
Brooks.
no, since he want to make a record and not be accurate, so let's be accurate all on the record. Since you think you know so much,
Once
so
again,
we can
Mr.
open the
Brooks
door
is
on.
being
We can
loud,
open the door on how old she told me she was when we met.
interrupting.
We can ask that question too. Then I don't take this as a game. That's what nobody. That's what nobody. You don't gotta explain nothing to me. Man with grown kids, ain't nobody gonna talk to me like that. Nobody.
Your Honor, I believe he has 7 prior criminal convictions via OWI 2nd from 1997, and OWI 3rd from 1997, and OWI 4th from 2003, criminal trespass to dwelling from 2006.
Right, I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared.
While I'm glad he got convicted, let this be a lesson to anyone who wants to represent themselves in court. Don't. This guy was objecting to his own name. If you have the time to watch the whole circus, go for it, but you'll likely lose brain cells, and the most important thing is that he got convicted. On to some world news next. Russia is doing nuclear testing. It has been made clear by US military this is okay, it's all above board, they're following all the rules, they do this every year, it's all good. I find it weird that this year it's okay, no one freak out, but last year when they did these drills, the media hyped it into a panic situation, which again is weird because last year they weren't at war. Currently, they're drone striking Ukrainian infrastructure and have been threatening nukes. So if anything, shouldn't we have not worried about last year and worry he might try some funny business this year? It doesn't make any sense, but not much coming from the media does make sense, so. Our last story of the day: a lot of people are not aware of what is happening in Iran. I plan to make a breakdown video soon because it's not something we've actually covered yet. Anyhow, there are protests happening in Iran, and unfortunately some protesters were recently killed when police opened fire on them. To give you the really short version, the protests are for a woman who was arrested for improperly wearing her hijab and died in custody. Protests have been popping up since then, with women ripping their headscarves off in solidarity. This is one of the most serious challenges to the Islamic Republic since 1979, and they don't seem to be handling it very well. This is unfortunately not the only instance of protesters being fired upon with live rounds. An estimated 234 of these protesters have died, 29 of them being children, at the hands of Iran's, quote, security forces. This is, I'm pretty sure, the definition of a humanitarian crisis, But at the same time, not every country has the right to protest, and Iran is a pretty radical part of the world. So you all tell me what you all think is going to happen here. Will the forces that be in Iran back down, or will they simply shoot as many people as needed to restore what they consider to be order? Let me know what you all think in the comments, and as I mentioned, I will do a video specifically about what's going on in Iran, so be sure to check that out, and I will see you all next time.